Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we're looking at play-up props here for Friday to end your week. Night 3, essentially, here of the NBA as we move forward in this young season. We had a 2-2 night last night, Nate, on Thursday in that little 2-game slate. Obviously, not quite as much to choose from on that slate there, but I was just dead wrong. I have to admit that Dame was going to come out and not shoot as much. I thought he was going to pass a lot more, and he came out being like, this is my city, essentially, and started throwing up Dame time shots, scoring 14 of their last 18 points. Either way, we still basically ended around 500, had a really good night in the Best Bets video at 4-1. Make sure you check that out. We have another Best Bets video up for you today on top of these play-up props, which we're bringing you each and every weekday. So like and subscribe so you can continue to follow along all season. Also head to thelines.com, putting up all the stuff we have in written form as well on thelines.com. And you can use that odds finder tool up there. Make sure that you are getting the best juice available to you from all these books giving us bets this NBA season. Nate, let's go ahead and kick it off with your first NBA play-up prop from this 11-game slate tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if Dame was taking over so much as the Bucks offense looked like a train wreck and they just had to give the ball to him and have him save the day like he used to do on the Blazers. So, I mean, that's something to watch early on is not good returns there. I'm lucky we got in the back door with 118 points to get that bet right for the Bucks. But I feel really good about this player prop here, which is also a best bet. It's Franz Wagner, 19 points, or you go up to 20 points in the win, parlay that. The Magic should be able to beat Portland on the road after they beat Houston on the road. With Franz dropping 19 in 27 minutes, his usage rate up to 28% in the debut. I mean, we're talking about 25 straight double-digit scoring outputs to end last season, except for the one game he got injured, with only a 24% usage rate. So he is clearly getting a little bit more of the ball in his hands after he, along with Dennis Schroeder, led Germany to a World Cup win, and his brother Mo, of course. But yeah, I think most basketball pundits would say Franz Wagner was the best player on that team, and is now primed for a breakout season, maybe a dark horse for most improved player. In for career against this Portland team, he averages 20 a game on typically elite splits, 49, 43, 82%, a little bit of a higher usage rate, even though he was a young buck in the last couple seasons. And look, Portland's matchup against shooting guards could be disastrous if they decide that Matisse Thybulle can't stay on the floor. He only played 20 minutes in their opener, despite the fact that they're dealing with Paul George and Kawhi. It's just because he doesn't really bring anything to the table on offense. So, I mean, Shaedon Sharpe is probably a better fit. But then you have like Shaedon, Scoot, and Anthony Simons just playing almost zero defense at the 1, 2, 3 spots. And the Magic should just be able to bully that back line, that back court, I should say, with Franz, who's just dwarfs those guys, just absolutely too big. As long as this game remains mildly competitive, I think he gets 20 because we saw how efficiently he scored in just 27 minutes before the Rockets just phoned it in. And that gets you over plus 200 is 20 plus in a win, only 1 point more than his prop, and a Magic team that was undervalued and is now picking up steam here at -4.
Yeah, it almost makes me wonder what I'm missing. I guess maybe because the Magic were just so much better at home last year than they were on the road, I guess. But like, this is a different team. I think they're another step forward, and Portland clear step back. So many problems. I know it was another 1-game sample that we're talking about against the Clips, and I'm not going to rush to judgment about Scoot or anything like that. I'm just going to say the chemistry problems in Portland are going to be real. Like, they're not going to, it's just an amalgamation of talent, like 3 dudes that do the same thing, and then another 3 dudes that do the same thing. And it's not really a good fit with a coach that's probably going to struggle to do that. I can't see their defense getting it together at any point with dominating as the anchor to it. And then just a bunch of guards that are still, whoa, what do we have in Portland? 2 small guards starting in the backcourt for them once again with Scoot and Anthony Simons. Good luck with that back there. Like you said, Matisse Thybulle is going to be the only guy that has the size and versatility to hang with Franz. And I don't think you can keep him out there if you have any intent of like really hanging around in this game offensively. So my first pick is really my favorite pick of everything we're talking about here, and it's Julius Randle. And I'm gonna put a good. Let's go 1.5 units. I'm gonna put another half a unit on it. I hit it while I was doing research here, and Julius Randle over 31.5 points and rebounds is like, I don't know, what are we doing here? Like he's averaged so many points and rebounds against them since he came to New York. I don't know what's different about the makeup of this Knicks team that would cause him to not get this over this number. So last season alone, 26 points, 11 boards in the 4 games, hit this every single time when he played Atlanta. Since joining the Knicks, he has played them 13 times. He's averaged 27 points, 11 and a half boards a game. When he's on the road against Atlanta in those 13 out of those 13 games, which has been 6 of them, 26 points and 12 boards. Like I don't know. That's 38. That's so much more than 32. I just feel so low. You can still get it for minus 105 for him to get the 32. There's not even any more John Collins. I was talking in the game video where I took the Knicks to win this one based on just like number and value alone. That this is probably a game that they should be like 51% favored to win, and you're getting plus money on their money line. So John Collins isn't there. It's a huge reason for it. Like, say what you want, but they're going to struggle a lot more down low. You can't play Capella and Okongwu together. So what are you going to do? Like, Capella's not going to obviously be a matchup for Mitchell Robinson. It's just kind of them pointing at each other in Spider-Man meme. Like, oh, well, you can't dribble. Well, neither can you. Well, you can't shoot. Well, neither can you. Like, but we'll stand down low and swat things and rim run. They'll cancel each other out. And then Julius Randle is just left to do everything else, man. And Mitch Rob obviously stays out of the way. When he's in there, his usage rate against the Hawks for Mitchell Robinson is super low. They're not running pick and rolls against Capella like that with him, and especially with John Collins, who was a versatile defender, but not there anymore. So when John Collins wasn't there, there's 2 games that he's played without John Collins. He went 27 and 12 in those. Did Julius Randle, shot 54, 37 splits, and had 7 free throw attempts a game. So I expect him to be up in the 7 to 8 to 9 free throw attempts once again, and just causing all kinds of problems.
Yeah, I like this call. I mean, the Hawks, with no John Collins, now have 4 small forwards that they play at power forward, basically. Bay, DeAndre Hunter, or Jalen Johnson, who they really like offensively, but he's not really have the girth to deal with Julius Randle. There's no matchup for him. There should be plenty of points in this game, as you mentioned in the game video. Jalen Brunson should eat. Randle should eat. Quickly is on fire off the bench, so... And the Hawks are in a bounce back spot offensively after struggling in their opener. So points and rebounds, I'll tell you on this one. I regret not taking Dennis Schroeder in his debut with the Raptors because upon further review, their other ball handlers are Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam and Malachi Flynn, I guess. There's just nobody else to play point guard now that they moved on from Fred VanVleet. So Schroeder is in a completely different situation after he averaged 12 and a half with the Lakers last year on 18% usage rate. His debut with Toronto, 26.5% usage in 33 minutes. He is also, I guess I'm just picking Team Germany here, coming off the FIBA World Cup as the MVP of that tournament. And we're still only at 12 and a half points. Granted, it's expensive. I think you could play it up to 14 and a half and flip it from minus 130 to plus 130 because I think he gets 15 points again here against Chicago. And for him to hit 2 threes is plus 140 as well. If you look at the fact that he hit 4 triples last game, look at the fact that he averaged, in this kind of higher usage situation, he averaged between 15 and a half and 19 and a half for 5 straight seasons in the NBA. Like, he's a very talented offensive player on a team that's starved for shot creation out of the backcourt, right? I mean, OG is a defensive specialist who you're going to harp on for that exact reason. But Schroeder is going to have a secure role here. And the Bulls apparently want to play Kobe White more than Alex Caruso. I don't know if that's going to consist, but I mean, Caruso only 20 minutes against SGA, who just had the most efficient performance in the NBA on the opening night because Caruso was not out there guarding him. The Bulls had a 126 defensive rating as a unit. I mean, Kobe White is a vastly inferior defender compared to Caruso. So as long as Schroeder is not dealing with Caruso the entire game, I feel very confident that he can score.
Man, Shai is so good at basketball. He was a pretty good MVP pick. Man, that's a tough guard, and he's gonna be really good. Very tough guard for anybody. I mean, Caruso, maybe the height. I don't really know what was going on there. Like, I completely agree. Kobe White's a way worse defender, so I don't know what the reasoning would be. But I'm with you on this. I don't feel silly. I guess I do feel a bit silly for not seeing it. I did say that I love the Dennis Schroeder pickup for them. He's such a good addition to what they do. I mean, look, defense, long, rangy, It's what they do. He's just such a solid like addition to that defense specifically. But on offense, like you said, like he's going to have the ball in his hands so freaking much, man, that this number is probably going to get closer to 15, 16 throughout the rest of the season once they realize that he's going to be a pretty big piece of the offense until somebody starts getting traded. Not sure who it's going to be. We'll figure it out later. For now, it's not OG Anunoby because he was apparently like a real reason that like there were no trades made in the offseason by Usai and that off the general management for the Raptors. He's that important to them, and part of it is going to be his defense. I mean, the main part is going to be his defense because 3-and-D guy to a degree, but mostly just like shut down first team all defense last year. He's coming off the first game of the season where he had 7 stocks versus Minnesota. So I'm going OG Anunoby over 1.5 steals and blocks combined. You can still get that for even money on PointsBet. They're kind of slow right now, by the way, on PointsBet. So I would if you do have an account with them, there's some pretty good value left on their markets there. The thing about OG too, like in this matchup, he's gone over this number I've looked at his last 8 games specifically. He went over this number in all of them. In terms of getting at least 2 combined. I'm sorry, he missed in 1 game, and that was last season. So in this one, this matchup for him, it really comes down to him having to guard who's on their team with the ball on the court, whomever. It's either Zach LaVine or it's DeMar, and that's who he's guarding all the time. And so he's involved in the play all the time. If they're getting a pick and roll, he's figuring something out. He's able to swat. Like he's just always involved in what's going on defending the Chicago offense because he's the exact prototype to stop what the Chicago offense does and what it's predicated upon, which is like LaVine and DeMar go get yours, and we'll clear out space for you and just put guys in specific spots to try to cut off of you. But really, it's you in space. So he's great there, and that's why he's done this so often. That's why he averages in his last 8 games, he's averaging 3 stocks a game. So like the 2 just seems a little bit weird for me. Like there was a streak last year where he went 24 straight games where he got at least 2 steals and blocks. And then he had a separate streak where he played 14 straight games where he got that. He played 67 games total last year, and 48 of them came in 2 streaks. You know what I mean? He got 51 of those 67 games rather, where he had at least 2 plus stocks. So he's just like, it's almost one of those like lock things for him. He does this. He did this 75% more than 75% of the time that he played last year. And with the amount that he's going to be involved in the plays on defense, it's just like, yeah, I'm going to take that at even money.
Yeah, exactly what happened in game 1 is Lou Dort and Shea, both 3 stocks, because they were being attacked by DeRozan and LaVine, who tend to either go to the basket, maybe LaVine a little bit from the perimeter. But yeah, this Bulls team definitely predicated on trying to get it going inside the arc. So there'll be opportunities for OG to get in the passing lanes or maybe get some blocks in that regard.
Yep, 100%. So it's going to be a fun, that's going to be an interesting game. Yeah, we'll see if it's like a good game, because if it is, then that'll make things a lot more interesting in the Eastern Conference if these 2 teams can like pick it up a little bit and raise the floor of competition in the East. So we'll see. But that is all the time we have for you in Playa Props to end the week. So appreciate you guys sticking around. Continue to follow along, like and subscribe to that page as always. We've got best bets up for you today as well. So until we see you next, happy betting.